The game never stops, and neither do we. Welcome to the SDH Network, around the corner from everywhere. It's time for another edition of the Morning Espresso, which is brought to you by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. I'm Jason Longshore. It was a long soccer day yesterday that started in Marietta at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Training Ground, speaking to Ronnie Dyla, speaking to Brad Guzan. Then heading to Macon, Georgia for Mercer and Samford on the women's side in the SoCon. Samford ended up taking the 3-0 win. A lot of players from the state of Georgia on both sides in that one. And now I'm back here with you for another edition of the Morning Espresso. Let's get caught up on the weekend ahead. We'll start in MLS. Decision Day is on Saturday. One more round of chaos and clarity, hopefully, before the playoffs begin. In the West, 4 teams are chasing 2 remaining postseason spots: Dallas, RSL, Colorado, and San Jose. Vancouver and San Diego are fighting it out for the number 1 seed out west, which would be a huge advantage going into the playoffs. In the East, the 9 playoff teams are already set, but the fight for home field advantage still matters. Charlotte, NYC, and Nashville are all in that mix, only 1 point separating each of them. And don't forget the Golden Boot race either. It's coming down to the wire. Lionel Messi leads with 26 goals. Denny Boyanga trails with 24. Sam Surridge is sitting on 23. The big story here in Atlanta, though, is the spotlight being on one man, Brad Guzan. Saturday will be his final match as a professional, closing a remarkable career that stretched across 2 decades from Chivas USA, honestly before that, from the University of South Carolina to Chivas USA, to the English Premier League and Aston Villa and others, and then Atlanta United. Yesterday, emotions ran high as Guzan spoke to the media alongside his family. He was asked how he knew it was time, and he said, listen, it's no secret this year has been terrible. You always want to finish on a positive note, but the thing about being a professional athlete is you don't always have control of everything around you as much as everyone on the outside might think. He was asked about what drives him even in the final week of his career, and he talked about Saturday, and he said, we've got fans, we've got supporters, we owe our best to them because they have stood with us throughout the season. Tomorrow is a chance to prepare for Saturday in the right way, because on Saturday there might be one kid who this is their first time going to see Atlanta United. We want to leave an impression on that one person that, quote, hey, I want to come back, and I like watching Atlanta United, and now I want to become a lifelong fan. That's our responsibility as players, as a team, and as a club. That is one of the best ways I've ever heard any athlete put it, because I think so many of us who fall in love with this sport, any sport to be honest, but the sport, for us here on the SDH Network, we were that kid at one point. We were that kid who either turned a game on TV or went to a game and something was turned on inside us that changed our lives. And he's right. You will have kids in the building tomorrow at the Benz who will be there for the first time, and something can happen for them to say, I want to be Brad Guzan. I want to come to every game. I want to do this. I want to be in this. And it is a responsibility for all of us in the game. This isn't just a player side. It's not always on the players. This is for those of us who do a broadcast. There might be somebody listening for the first time, and we could change their life. It's for those of you in the stands. You know, this is the opportunity that somebody could come and say, hey, this is really cool. I want to come back to this. We all have a responsibility to grow the game. Brad Guzan has done that for 2+ decades. He set the standard in Atlanta from day one. And this is, I think, what we're seeing this week with all the flowers being given as they should. I think you're starting to see that this is what legacy really looks like. Let's move on to U.S. soccer. They issued their white paper on college soccer. Big news. This has been talked about for a while, but that has been released now from the Next Gen College Soccer Committee. It's a 17-person group. They've put forward major recommendations to modernize NCAA D1 soccer, particularly on the men's side where growth has lagged a little bit. The proposal stretches the season across both the fall and the spring. It creates regional divisions to cut travel costs, getting away from the current conference structure, and aims to improve both the student-athlete experience and the development pathway for elite players. U.S. Soccer CEO J.T. Batson said this isn't about rewriting college soccer, it's about renewing it. Committee Chair Dan Helfrich said, "Our job was to listen, analyze, debate, and recommend. The result isn't disruption for disruption's sake. It's a modernization plan that strengthens well-being, reduces costs, and creates new opportunities for growth." We'll be digging into this white paper and what we think it could mean for programs across the country, for Atlanta's college soccer scene. We'll be working on that over the next week here at SDH. U-17s, the World Cup roster is out. Tournament is going to be next month in Qatar. Head coach Gonzalo Cigares, he has called in 21 players led by Kevin Sullivan of the Philadelphia Union, Mathis Albert from Borussia Dortmund, two of the brightest prospects in the U.S. age group pool. There's also a local twist, Cooper Sanchez from Atlanta United. He made his MLS first start last weekend in Miami. I thought he played very, very well. We spoke to him after the game about how much it meant to be part of the club and also part of this roster. He's going to represent the U.S. on the world stage at the World Cup. That's exactly what you want to see from your academy pathway. Global headlines as we start to wrap up this edition of the Morning Espresso. Let's go to the world stage. Der Klassiker returning. It's Bayern Munich versus Borussia Dortmund. Germany's biggest game, the tone setter for the Bundesliga title race. Dortmund head coach Niko Kovac spoke to the media. He said his team believes. He said, "We're solid at the moment, and that's the basis if you want to have any success." Bayern has won 10 from 10, but Kovac said, "We are on a good path ourselves, and we're ready to take on this tough challenge." Bayern have averaged 4 goals per game in that 10-game stretch, which is insanity. Dortmund haven't lost all season, though. Something's got to give. This should be a fun one in the Bundesliga. In Madrid, Real Madrid might be on the verge of a historic shift structurally, opening the door to outside investors for the first time in the club's history. President Florentino Perez is expected to present details to the socios, the members, next month. The idea right now is to split the club into 2 arms, one for football, one for business, to try to stay competitive with billionaire-backed rivals. It would change the DNA of the club forever, and it might lose that DNA forever. It'd be very interesting to see what happens with Real Madrid if they go down this road. Let's go to Argentina and Buenos Aires. River Plate, they are fighting for survival this season and for qualifying for next year's Copa Libertadores. They travel to Talleres this weekend. Marcelo Gallardo's side has lost 6 of their last 7. If they miss out on the Libertadores, that could open the door to a possible managerial change. And Gallardo is a legend and a hero at River after winning the Libertadores over Boca in that crazy final a few years ago. If they don't qualify for the Libertadores next year, we've seen this kind of change already happen at Boca. Could this happen at River? Yes, it could. It's going to get very interesting for Gallardo and River if they don't get a win this weekend against Talleres. FIFA rankings, the new ones are out. Spain hold firm at number 1. Argentina climb back to 2nd. France dropped to 3rd. Germany back up into the top 10, which should put them in place to be in pot 1 in the World Cup draw in December. Hungary, Scotland, Nigeria, Romania all rising after big international windows. UEFA Women's Champions League, Manchester United still perfect. Fallon Tullis-Joyce, the U.S. women's national team goalkeeper, made 6 saves in a 1-0 clean sheet win at Atletico Madrid. Real Madrid's women earned a first-ever win over PSG. Naomi Feller and Alba Redondo, the heroes in that one. Sunday, join us at the Brewhouse Café. It's going to bring something new for the SDH family. We are debuting our Around the Corner lager, powered by Nofo Brewing, served exclusively at the Brewhouse Café. You've got the Little 5 Points Halloween Parade. It's going to start at noon, but get there early. Uber, Lyft, whatever it takes to get there. Parking's going to be at a premium. Liverpool hosting Manchester United. That game will kick at 11:30. I'll be there for that. I know quite a few folks will be there for that. Come, join us, have a toast of the new Around the Corner lager. We hope you love it, and we hope it becomes your beer of choice when you're hanging out at the Brewhouse Café. A few quick ones as well as we wrap up this edition of the Espresso. Gio Reyna, he is back fit for Borussia Mönchengladbach. They head to Union Berlin this weekend. He could factor into that. Graham Potter is being talked about as the new manager of Sweden. That could be announced this weekend. Barcelona, they have extended their partnership with Spotify through 2030. That includes the front of the shirt and the stadium, which is getting closer to being able to reopen. They have gotten their official safety certificate for the first stage of the stadium, but that first stage is only about half the size of the Olympic Stadium where they're currently playing. So they're going to wait till the second stage is certified to move back into the Spotify Camp Nou. Manchester City, they will be without Rodri this weekend as his injury lingers on. England's FA reports have them considering Miami as a World Cup 2026 base camp. And speaking of Miami, their Bayfront Park will be host of one of FIFA's major fan festivals in 2026. Here in Atlanta, that FIFA fan festival is going to be at Centennial Olympic Park. These have been great opportunities, even if you're not able to get a ticket and get into the stadium, which we know the prices and we know the premium aspect of getting in because everybody wants a ticket to a World Cup match. The fan festivals become a really cool idea and a really cool way to be part of the tournament and be part of the experience. I can't wait to see what those are like at Centennial Olympic Park. I think 20 plus days of festival programming at Centennial Olympic Park, about the same in Miami at Bayfront Park. Other cities are finalizing their plans as well. From Brad Guzan's goodbye to Decision Day, from Der Klassiker to the crossroads of ownership at Real Madrid, this weekend is everything the global game represents, everything that we love about the sport. Emotion, stakes, things on the line, potential change. Always stuff that we try to give context for you here on the SDH network, and we always try to bring you the news that we think is important and give you our opinions on why we think it's important. Thanks for starting your morning with us. I'm Jason Longshore. This has been the Morning Espresso, brought to you by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. See you around the corner from everywhere.